Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace. Ooh, a brand new camera and lens from Sony. This is gonna be like the easiest review ever. I will be buying both of these. Let me explain why. This right here is the brand new Sony A7CII and brand new 16-35 G Master 2. Oh, I squished my hat. Hate when I do that. Now, for the record here, Sony did send me both of these to use, but Sony doesn't let me keep anything. They send it to me, I can use it for 2 weeks, they don't pay me or anything like that, and then I have to send it back. It's very sad, Sony. I wish you'd let me keep your dang cameras. But again, I'll be buying both of these, so Sony's gonna get my money. Instead of them paying me, I will be paying them. That's just part of having photography, videography as something you're into. It costs a little bit. Okay, so today it seems like it would make sense to compare the A7C II to the A7C1, but actually it makes a lot more sense to compare it to the A7 IV. This A7 IV has been my photography workhorse and the best hybrid camera that I've ever used. Like shooting photos with this thing, shooting video with this thing, it is amazing. By far the best hybrid experience that I've ever had with a camera. And as we start going through some of the feature sets on this guy, you'll see why this comparison makes the most sense. Especially since the very first feature of the new A7C II is a 33 megapixel sensor, the exact same sensor that is in the A7 IV camera. And photo-wise and video-wise, it's almost identical to the A7 IV. So 33 megapixels, 4K. If you want to do 4K 60, you do get that crop factor. They pretty much shoved the A7 IV guts inside of a significantly smaller camera and then added some real trick new features. The most prominent being that AI chip that the A7R5 has, the ZVE1 has, the A6700. All of those have that AI processor unit. Well, now so does the A7C II. So this little guy is like an A7 IV add AI processor chip, which means like ridiculously good autofocus, 759 autofocus points covering 94% of the sensor. But really where it gets crazy is the tracking. You can select who you're gonna track. You wanna track a human, you wanna track a animal or a bird or an insect or a car or a train or a plane. You can choose any of those and this camera will lock onto them and track them. Like, it doesn't make sense how good it really is. Like, you watch it happen on the screen, you watch kind of the box around a person or around a bird or an animal, it kind of doesn't make sense how well this AI processor unit is able to recognize subjects and then track them as they move through the frame. I think that AI chip is also responsible for the new 7 steps of image stabilization in here. It is just still active. We don't have that dynamic stabilization from the ZVE1, which again, I don't know why. I don't know why the A6700, why this camera did not get dynamic stabilization from those cameras. It feels like with the same chipset, it could. It kind of feels like Sony just held it back from us to make it like, well, this camera doesn't do everything that the ZVE1 does, but it does most of it. Back to the desk for one quick minute and back with my just plain old A7 IV, but a quick moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. If you don't know about Squarespace already, they are your all-in-one website building platform that I've used for the past 10 years. I tell everyone about them, and the coolest part is seeing my friends and my family start businesses, launch a Squarespace website, and then call me and be like, dude, that was super easy. If you have a business or side project, all you have to do is hop on squarespace.com, first link in the description, go over there and sign up for a totally free trial. Download one of their templates, which are professionally designed, and then you go in and customize it. It's incredibly simple. If you know how to open files on your computer and load photos in and some text, you can make a website on Squarespace. And once you've customized one of those templates, like you're ready to go. You've got a super dope website, but then you can use their Fluid Engine system and you can go basically as crazy as you want to customize the website exactly for your business or that project that you're looking to get off the ground. And again, I've used them for the past 10 years for my photography business. That's the only website that I've really ever had for my company, and it's because it's easy. Everything's in one spot. I got my domain through them. I got my email address through them. They take care of all the tech support,
all that stuff, I can focus on being a photographer, videographer. They can take care of my website. If you want to get started on Squarespace, shoot that first link in the description. Go over there. Again, totally free trial. And yeah, Squarespace, man. They are the best. And again, thank you Squarespace for sponsoring today's video and supporting videos like this. All right, let's jump back to when I had the very super cool camera and not when I just have my A7 IV.
So A7 IV guts plus that AI processor, adding in all of that sweet tracking, subject recognition stuff. How much smaller really is it? Let me show you just the camera bodies real quick here. When you look at just the camera bodies themselves, the A7CII is 53% smaller by volume than the A7 IV. So it's almost half the size of this camera is in this camera. But everything that was in this camera is in this camera, again, plus an AI processor unit and all the sweet functions that come with that. Oh, this thing also has over 15 stops of dynamic range, which is bananas. Like that puts it on par or better than something like the A7S III, which again, like that's why this is just the easiest review I've ever done, because I will for sure be selling my A7 IV and buying the A7CII. I love having that subject recognition, the tracking in these new cameras with that AI processor unit. It's just bananas. Like it's crazy to watch and then have to go back to my other camera and go, oh, I don't have that on here. And shooting with the A6700 ZVE1 and this thing, yeah, it just made it so I'm like, I've got to buy one. I'm actually thinking about selling my A7S III and A7 IV and picking up a ZVE1 and A7CII. That way, I would essentially have the same sensors that I'm used to, the same hybrid camera I'm used to, the same main camera sensor that I'm used to, but add in a smaller body, smaller form factor, and that AI processor unit. I'm telling you guys, if you get a chance to like go to a store, like find a buddy that's got one of these things, grab it and just run through the subject recognition stuff. Just use that alone and you'll be sold. But like I said, that is not all that Sony announced today. They're also announcing the 16 to 35 G Master 2, and it's tiny. Sort of on par with the A7CII theme here. It is smaller and lighter and sharper, so better in every way. Oh, they added an aperture ring on here now, so the 16 to 35 now has a fun aperture ring. We've got a click and de-click for video lovers. The lens hood is a little smaller because of how they reworked some of the optics in there, but again, the main thing, it is 10% smaller, but 20% lighter than the original 16 to 35, which I'm on right now. I can't really show you a side-by-side here. I will film separately some B-roll side-by-side so you can see how much smaller than that this is. And this will kind of complete the new G Master 2 Holy Trinity. So the 24 to 70 G Master, we have a second version of that, the Mark II. The 70 to 200, we have a Mark II. And now the 16 to 35, we have a smaller, lighter Mark II version. And in theory, this little rig right here, this will be my new vlog setup. I'm pretty sure that even if I pick up the ZVE1, I'll probably just leave that at the studio at home and I will use this as a vlogging rig. Now I know in your mind, you're like, why wouldn't you use one of the cameras that's more designed for vlogging for your vlog rig? And it's just, again, because I only want to own 2 cameras. I don't want to own like 3 or 4 camera bodies. And it makes the most sense for me to still have a main photography camera that shoots just as good, if not better, with tracking than the A7 IV. So this will be like my photo video camera, and then the ZVE1 will be like my main video camera. I might still vlog with the ZVE1. Oh, by the way, this body, this camera body, it's the same size as the A6700. The APS-C size sensor camera that I recently reviewed on this channel, this is the exact same body as that camera. So an APS-C size camera, but it's full frame. And then again, a smaller lens. Yeah, Sony, once again, you take all my dang money. I would love Sony to maybe, I don't know, send a camera once and just be like, you know what, this one, you can keep. That sure would be nice. Now I have to send these back. Again, I will buy them, but I won't get them until everyone else can order them and get them. But if you have questions on them, leave them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them as best as I can without actually having my hands on the camera or lens anymore. But I've used them for like 3 weeks, so I'm pretty I'm pretty familiar with them. It's just that, I don't know, I won't have them with me when you guys are all asking me questions. I will have them with me though the day they are launched. I'm gonna go try to film a train. There's a train that goes through Oceanside. I've been skating around trying to like track different things and show you guys the subject tracking. And the only thing I haven't gotten was a train and a plane. And I don't think there's any planes around here, but there is a train and I've missed it twice. I'm gonna go see if I can get it. All right, I'll see you guys soon. I gotta pack up 3 cameras now, back in my bag. This thing's heavy today. Jammed into this tiny little camera. It's lighter, whoa, is that a train? That's a very loud train going by. Woo! That was a big boy train.